I wanted to ask you, I said at the beginning, in the last segment, that you once took on the government of India and the government of India fought you and it became a very bitter battle. I know, and this is actually not widely known, I think you've spoken about this, is that shortly before Rajiv Gandhi died, you went and saw him and you had a long chat. I know this because he mentioned it to me. And were many of the differences resolved?
There were no differences. I tell you one thing. When I said to you, others tried to beat the system, and the system overwhelmed. I think he was one of them. I think he was a man of integrity, and an honest man. The system just, didn't allow him to function. And I felt very sad, that he tried very hard. And then the differences that came about between us were not differences between us. They were concoctions and fabrications which were done by people. And that created a sort of psychosis, which then led everybody to sort of, talk him up into saying, you're threatened and he's attacking you and he's doing this, which I wasn't. And I tried at that time very hard to get in touch with him, and I was not allowed to get in touch with him by the people who were around him, the Gopi Aroras of the world and others. And so when everything was over and the temperature had come down and he was no longer in power, when we talked, we actually talked like that whole thing was an aberration.
Apparently you spent much of a night together. You went over and you just chatted and chatted.
We chatted till about 5 in the morning. And it actually was like the whole thing was an aberration, And I really regret that those 2-3 years were lost in the relationship.
And by the time you guys actually resolved it, it was too late, wasn't it?
Resolved. I mean, it was a conversation with him. Why? What happened? What went wrong? And I said, I think we both got taken for a ride. And the fact was, it was. We both got taken for a ride. There were no differences between us. There were really none. It was just people created them. And unfortunately...
For their own end.
Yeah, and then one thing led to another, and then you get out of control.
And both of you, both Rajiv and you, lost out as a consequence.
Absolutely.
There were
no
winners in that.
Absolutely, no winners, and both losers.
See, people have often asked why you don't join politics. You've pretty much achieved what you set out to. People said, and I don't mean to be unkind, especially when the Ambanis on the ascent and the Nusli Wadia is really not up to the job, he can't run a company, etc. You've since proved that was not true. You've made huge successes of many other businesses, even Bombay dying, the land redevelopment, etc. You're a very, very successful businessman today. Is there anything left to achieve in business?
No, I have not been anywhere near as successful as many of my peers because, they've grown much faster than me.
You've been as successful as you wanted to be.
No, I mean, frankly, business doesn't excite me that much. I mean, I'm not a die-hard businessman, unfortunately. It's not what really gets my adrenaline going.
So why not politics?
Yeah, but I don't know. Politics, I don't know where I would go. I mean, I say where I would go means not ambitious-wise. I'm not looking saying minister or this or that or anything. I don't know what I could subscribe to.
BJP?
I know I subscribe to many things, and I still do, and there's no question about that. But I can't subscribe to many things. The question is how do you wait and what do you do?
So you're saying there's no way to go?
It's a dichotomy in my mind. I mean, I would like to do something, but I at the same time don't know where to manifest that desire. And I don't think I'll be a very good politician.
I think you'd be a brilliant politician.
No,
there's all those Jinnah genes in you.
No, because it's too blunt. And too straightforward. I mean, I can't do this. I can't. I'll say it as it is. No, you like it, you don't like it. And sometimes that's quite costly to do that. And I don't think in politics it works. It doesn't always work in business, but in politics it works even less.
So we don't quite know where you're going to go. But at the moment,
my age,
yes, that old Nusli.
Getting on.
Nusli, thank you. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. I know how reluctant you are to give interviews. I'm personally not quite sure how I conned you into this. But thank you so much for being honest. And with a bit of luck, we'll do another interview soon.
Thank you for calling me.